Hey, it's Wednesday, which means it's Backstage Live with Cindy Rowe, and I have a exciting guest today. I'm super excited to finally find out who is behind the scenes of a website and a Facebook page I've been following for a little while now. Welcome to Erin from Stateline Kids. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, like I said, even when we were chit-chatting before, was so excited to finally meet the person that I've been, following the content of. So, welcome to my show. Tell us a little bit about Stateline Kids and how you got that started.
Sure. Well, I started Stateline Kids in 2018. I was a mom at that time of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I was looking around to see sort of where could I take my kids? What kind of activities could we do? And I really couldn't find a good resource for our community that shared those types of things. Bigger cities tend to have these hyperlocal sites for families that share all the information Stateline Kids does, but Rockford was lacking one. So I was like, okay, I have a marketing background. I love to write. Like, I do tons of stuff with my kids already. So why don't I just be the person that creates this? Because I felt like I was made to do it. So I was like, okay, let's see, what kind of stuff would I want to know? And some of the main things were what's at the playgrounds, because we would show up to playgrounds sometimes, and with a 3 and a 1-year-old, if it's big kid equipment for 5 and up, it would be like, oh, they're scared, like we can't play. So then I'd be like, oh, this is a bust. I wish I would have known this was a big kid playground. So, that I started creating those playground profiles, compiling resources in one place, because the Stateline's a pretty big geographic area. I cover Belvedere, I cover all the way up to Janesville. So sometimes it's hard to find where all the different things are happening in the area because there's so many places they could be happening.
Right.
So I really wanted to take all those and compile them into sort of lists and different guides, like a summer camp guide, classes and lessons, forgetting my other ones, preschool, just these general ones so that you could easily find like, oh, what is available for my kids? Yeah. So I've been doing it for almost 3 years now in July, and it's been extremely fun. I've had a great time doing it.
So did it start out as like, I'm just going to do this because I'm searching for the stuff anyway and put it on a platform, kind of like a hobby, or did you have the intention of turning it into some kind of money-making business?
Well, that's a great question. I already had been doing marketing and social media for other people since 2014. So
sweet. I didn't know that part too. So we're social media buddies. That's awesome.
Yes, we are. So I had already seen a lot of different people grow, and I had helped them, grow. As you know, with social media, it's a huge, business booster for a lot of different people. So I was like, okay, this is something I think I could turn into a business, but I was doing both at the same time, actually up until I just let my last client go this month. So now I'm all in Stateline Kids.
That's cool. So cool. So do you have people out there that provide the information to you now? Like, do you have that submit things, or are you still going out and doing a lot of the hard searching?
It's pretty much still all me. It's a one-woman show currently. I do go everywhere. If you see me in public, I do not look like this. I have no makeup on. My hair is like all crazy. So it is still me if you see me. But yeah, I mostly search everything out. I do have some great sponsors right now, like the Park District and Beloit Public Library, Seaver Sandels, who send me the information directly. So that's been awesome. But a lot of it, I still go physically to places and look at stuff. We try everything. I did wakeboarding last summer, which I'm not athletic. It is really fun. So yeah, mostly it's just me looking for it still.
So it's like a big kid field trip for the little kids.
Yes, I get to sort of do my childhood a little bit over through my kids, and it is fun.
That's so cool. So is it more like a blog, would you say, or is it a resource website? Or are they
I
one
would
and
say,
the same?
sure, I would say it's more like a resource website / media publication. Just focusing only though on news about family-friendly events, information, and activities. So the one component of it is what the parents and caregivers are looking at, which is, finding events, finding information about where to register their kids for different things. And then the other component is me supporting small businesses by doing advertising for them to get them in front of their target market, which is, parents and caregivers.
Right. So is that primarily how you get paid then, is through those advertisements on your website?
Yes.
So talk about that hurdle, because I'm sure when you began, you obviously and probably, thinking as a businesswoman yourself with the other business that you had, is, how's this going to make it worth my while? Not only for, because I want to know the stuff for my kids, but I'm sure the mindset was, I don't want to do this free forever. So having that switch, or did you always have ads, I guess, from day one on your page?
I always had ads from day one. I came out of the gate with a PowerPoint. I used to go and I presented to some local businesses in person and was like, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to advertise with me? This is who my audience is going to be. And I had a few people take a shot on me when I had nothing. I just had the website, which was really cool. And then as I've continued on, I have a media kit, I have a sponsor page. So now it's a lot easier to say, do you want to be a part of this? Because they often know what it is. Before, when I was trying to describe it, it was kind of like how you asked, is this a mommy blog? Is this what is this trying to be? And it's like, no, it's a media publisher and a resource, community resource.
Yeah. And I've seen you've gotten some news coverage, which is awesome. I don't have little kids, but I know that, I follow you, and it's just some of the things that you didn't even realize were in your backyard, right? And then the community and the people. There's a lot of negativity about our area, but man, if they even just stop at your Facebook page or go to your website and see all the wonderful treasures we have, and they're so inexpensive. So what's your favorite?
Ooh, that's super hard.
For your kids to go to. How about
for my kids to go to? My kids love the playgrounds. We're really outdoorsy, nature family. So they love Severson Dells. They love nature at the Confluence in South Beloit. They love Big Hill Park in Beloit. They love Sinisippi Park. Pretty much anything with green space they can run around, climb on things. It's a plus if it has a playground. I love the library. I'm a huge book nerd, and I love all the library events that they typically have. Most of them have been paused for COVID, but they have great free things for kids to come to, like reptile shows, movies, performances. Our libraries are awesome out here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know that unless I followed you. So, and so how do people, or can people, I guess, can they submit an event or a place to you so you can talk about it, or what's that process?
Oh, sure. Yeah. If somebody has an event or anything they want to ask me to go check out or do, all they have to do is either just send me a message on Facebook, DM me, or email me at hello@stateline.kids.com. And I'll pretty much go anywhere. We've done a lot of stuff, and a lot of things I already have on my list. Just as soon as summer hits, I can get the kids and start going to more places. But if you have any kind of suggestions, I'd love to hear them, because there is stuff that I don't know about. I feel like I know about a lot of it, but sometimes someone will surprise me and I'll be like, I didn't know that was there. Wow. Because there's just hidden gems all over it.
So do you typically have specific events or locations, or a mix of both?
A mix of both. We have an events calendar on the website, and I do every weekend and every weekday as well. Talk about stuff happening that day or in the upcoming days on Facebook. So there is a mix of promoting events and then as well as promoting just places that you could go to at any time.
Cool. So my other question is, when you had this idea to turn it into something other than just research for yourself, how did your background help you lift it off the ground?
For sure. Well, okay, so I have a degree in English from NIU. I have a MBA as well. And so right as I was finishing my MBA, I got pregnant with my daughter, and I was like working as a research librarian at a biotech company prior to that. And so I didn't really want to go back to work because I wanted to stay home with my daughter. So I was kind of trying to think of anything I could do to do my own business. And I thought, oh, I've done social media for people as side hustles while I worked my 9 to 5. I was like, oh, let me just pursue that full time. And then from that, then I did use those same skills to set up Stateline Kids once my kids were a little bit older and I started going out and doing things with them. But I do think that the librarian type of skills help because I'm good at taking a lot of information and condensing it into something that people can read quickly and make a decision on, because that's all I did all day. It was like, look at scientific articles and send it to a scientist who has like 5 minutes. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I don't understand the science, but it was just finding what they need and being like, is this it? And then they're like, that's it, thank you. So I kind of feel like I do the same thing. Now somebody will say like, there's a playground with a bridge. And I'll be like, is it this one? And they're like, what it is. I'm like, okay. So I do feel like those skills help. And then I had already been building websites using WordPress, doing scheduling social media, writing social media for 10 plus years. So I knew how to do it all already, basically. So I do think it kind of all came together to help me do this business.
Yeah. So is this what you dreamt about when you were in college? This is what I was going to do when I grow up.
I didn't even really have any clue what I wanted to do in college. I just loved reading. And so I was like, I want to read all the books. Let me be an English major. And I love writing. So I did want to write. I wrote for a newspaper for 3 years in college. And I didn't really want to do journalism per se, because there's a lot of, it's an inconsistent schedule. You kind of, if a story comes out, you got to write the story. Right. So I was like, oh, I want something a little more 9 to 5. And yeah, it kind of has a winding path to get me here, but it's been fun. I mean, I've enjoyed it.
And the bonus is that it's all surrounded by your kids. So you do get the opportunity to, run your business and be part of your kids' lives, which is so important for some of us mommies. So I think that's super cool. What's one hurdle that you've had that you maybe weren't expecting, a curveball that's been sent your way? And you can say COVID.
Yes, COVID was rough because I do promote probably 80% events. My advertising, hit the toilet. So I definitely decided at that point, okay, I'm going to pivot a little bit and just try to continue offering useful content, but not try to make any money right now. Just shift to my other business that continually made money and say, okay, this is just going to kind of have to float for a while. And I did come up with a really fun virtual playdate series where I had all these different businesses submit videos that were like 3 minutes long, where they showed something fun you could do at home. So some of them did science experiments, or the mayor read a book to the kids, like various things. That was really fun and cool to see all these businesses do things, because a lot of them were scrambling too. So it was great to support them and say like, hey, did you like this video? They still have an online, business open, buy from them or order food from this place or just anything. So COVID was rough. It's also hard to balance little kids and trying to do any business, quite frankly. I mean, I do a lot of stuff with my kids for the business, but a lot of times when I'm sitting down to actually write on the computer, it's difficult to manage kids and trying to get any business done.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. And I have older ones, so they see you and they think that, you can still get them a snack, even as teenagers, or that you're really not working because you're on your phone.
Yes.
So it doesn't change, is what I'm telling you.
Oh boy.
They just get their own thing at their own time. You know, they don't have to feel like you have to have all eyes on them the whole entire day.
Yeah.
So you said you like to read, so I'm going to ask you what your favorite book is for business, or for that has helped you in your business work.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay. I believe it's called The Compound Effect. Yes, I love that book. So I thought that was super helpful because it has a lot of actionable things you can do, and just to just get your mindset in the right place. I really also like You Are a Badass, which is not really business, but just mindset, you know, to give yourself the confidence to go for it. Because I think especially as women, we can be like, oh, well, maybe somebody else could do this better, or maybe like I'm not the expert here. And I've had to really step in and like, no, I want to say like I am the local kids expert. Like that's me. So, but that's, you know, it can be difficult with the imposter syndrome and all that. So I definitely like that book.
Yes, I've actually read that 3 times.
Oh,
awesome. And I gave it to my daughter to read when she turned 18 and was really unsure of her direction that she wanted to go. And I'm like, you know what, you should read this because I think it would really like supercharge you if you had any ideas, you know, of what you want to do. Maybe it will help blossom. But she said it was a really good book too. So, yeah. So I was never a good reader. I did not enjoy reading until probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And I joined a company, and they encouraged you to read 10 pages of a good book a day.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a rule follower. So I was like, okay, if they say I'm going to succeed because I'm reading, I'm going to do it. And the good books I read were on mindset, business, you know, personal development books. And I got hooked. And still to this day, I try to read 10 pages of the book, and I'm a completely different person than I was, you know, 7 years ago when I started that. And the confidence that you get from the reading the books is pretty remarkable, you know. And I mean, I can't quote a lot of the books, but I know the general idea and, you know, the takeaways from it, and maybe take just one nugget and change it in my life, which is more than had I not read it. So
yeah, definitely.
So how do you, in your business, how do you define success?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've been working on a mindset shift with that lately, because before I was extremely numbers focused. I think I'm just generally kind of a planner, and I want to see the numbers. I want to see like the ABCD gets to this. And so then even if I did well, if I didn't hit the number I wanted, I would still feel like that was a failure, basically, because, you know, I had not hit it. So now I'm trying to make more of my success look at my effort. So instead of having like, I want to get this many sponsors, let's say, I'll say I want to reach out to this many people, you know, in the time period. So then it's not contingent on whether they say yes or no. It's like, well, I put that all out there. We'll see what may happen now or in the future, you know, and then I'll feel successful that I did that.
Right. I like that. I like that idea, because I think we can be really, really hard on ourselves if we just strictly look at those numbers. And being single business owners, we don't really have somebody to lean on when, you know, something falls through or whatever, that you're like, nope, it's okay. You planted the seed, right? And I think I got that one from a book.
Yeah, me too.
or maybe it might have been somebody. It might have been a quote. I don't know, but I like that idea. That concept is really cool. With our mindset, mind shifting, you had mentioned, you know, explain that a little bit. Like being a woman entrepreneur with little kids and trying to grow a business, and trying to find that balance and not get too negative, because then the negativity rubs off on the family type of thing. So to kind of walk me through a little bit of what prompted you to make a change. And man, it's really getting static. You try. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to break this.
I would say normally my mindset previously had been, again, more goal oriented, more goal focused. And then I would feel maybe like I don't have enough time. If I had more time, I could get this done, or I could reach these goals. And I've definitely come into more of a season of just embracing that my kids are little. It is my number one priority to just be home with my kids. So I have that at the forefront of my mind, and then sort of everything else I try to look at is just these are bonuses. Whatever I can accomplish while my kids are small and home is a bonus. And I would really encourage any mom that's especially working at home with small kids is just, it goes so fast. I mean, even though my kids are not that big, my daughter's finishing first grade, and I literally feel like I just had her. Like, I really do. So I'm just like, how is she 7? How is this happening? So, I mean, I know that I won't regret pouring more time into them. I may regret pouring too much time into my business life and say, oh, now they're big and they don't want to spend time with me. And I have all the time in the world to do my business. So I try to more focus on that with my mindset at this point.
Yeah, that's really crucial, because I have 2 teenagers that don't really want to spend time.
I know it happens.
And I used when they were growing up, majority of their life, I was in the corporate world. So I did, miss out on a lot of their little things. And so when I started my business, at the very beginning, it was really hard to find that balance. And I worked a lot at night when they were sleeping. And then now I love the flexibility that I have, so that if they have a sporting event, or, my daughter wants to go get nails and out for lunch, I can do that and then work around what they want to do. So those are the great perks of being a single business owner and, having these kids. But yeah, I like that you found that right away, and that you realized that right away. So you can enjoy your littles and still grow a business. So.
And I saw this great quote one time that was saying something about if you picture all the things in your life as balls, and some are made of rubber and some are made of glass, and that while you're juggling, something's going to fall. So you want to make sure your rubber ball falls, not your glass ball. So I try to have that in my mind, as like my kids are like 2 glass balls, and everything else, or most other things, are rubber. Like, I can let it bounce, I'll grab it again, but if I drop the glass, it's going to break.
Oh, so that's a great visual. I like that.
I read it somewhere.
I like that. I had a thought. I thought maybe. A lot of what you report on and give back to the community, I would assume, is on strong relationships that you've built with some of these organizations and businesses. So kind of tell us how that all started. Were there certain tactics that you used to network or to build those relationships? Because I imagine those are really, a deep thread, I guess, to the lifeblood of your website.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's only so many places that sort of do family-friendly things. So I try to, number one, I reach out through email. That's usually my first step. Secondly, if I am in person at anything, I try to introduce myself to people, or see who maybe is, a person that works at the place or whatnot, and tell them like who I am. And, I have the Stateline Kids website, I don't know if you've heard of us, and sort of give a little 20-second spiel and try to make a connection. Because in general, even if someone is not advertising with me, I want to show all the cool stuff that Rockford has. Like, I love Rockford. I love the Stateline. And as you mentioned before, there's some negativity about the area, and I do feel it's a great place to raise kids, and there's a lot to do with families. So I want to put all that out there. So to me, it's, yeah, there's definitely relationships with the, different organizations and businesses that do things for families. And then it's also just me kind of doing research on my own, reaching out through email, reaching out through Facebook Messenger, and just answering everybody that messages me. If you message me and ask me, like, what is there to do on Saturday, I will literally find you something to do on Saturday. Like, I've had people call my cell phone because it's on my business thing, and then I will, like, tell you what you can do on Saturday. So I think just being accessible as well is helpful, because, if I'm at a playground, I'm going to say hi to you. Like I said, I won't look like this, but I will say hi to you. I just try to be as friendly as possible as well.
Yeah. So if somebody's watching and they have thought about doing a site similar to yours, maybe not necessarily about kids or things to do here in Rockford, what's a big piece of advice you would give them before they begin?
I would say try to think of what your audience wants to see. That's the main thing that I think of when I'm putting any content together for the website or social media, is I think, what would my audience want to see at, let's say, the apple orchard? If I was walking in the apple orchard and I'm not from here and I haven't been here, instead of me being me as I know the apple orchard like the back of my hand, like, what would somebody want to see? How should I show this to them? And I kind of always have in my mind, just like, where is the positive of this? So just looking for where that positive part of whatever the thing is. That's kind of like a life metaphor philosophy for me as well, is just like, where's the positive part? But I think I would encourage anybody to go for setting up anything, especially nowadays. WordPress is not hard to use. It may look a little complicated at first, but it's not. And even if that seems a little complicated, Squarespace is really easy to use if you want to set up a website. It's not too expensive to get started. It's probably $100 or less to get hosting and get a website and get an email address and brand everything. So it's just, you can go on Fiverr and get a logo. There's so many things you can do where you could probably start a business for $150 and then see where it goes.
Right. And there's so much online right now too on how to do it yourself. And I think with COVID, it has given people time to think about, man, if I, this might be a good time to start this business now, type of thing, because they're stuck at home or they got laid off, or they weren't able to go out and about, and they've always had this thought in their head just to take it and run with it. So I like that advice. Like it's to start a business today is very, very inexpensive, and
yes,
if you have that dream or thought, go for it. During COVID, my daughter actually started a thrift resale Instagram.
Oh, cool.
And I told another friend of mine in another city, and she's like, are you kidding? She's like, she goes to thrift stores and buys stuff and then puts it up on Instagram and sells it. I'm like, yeah, so she resales the resale.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that's brilliant, because I hate going to resale stores and trying to find like the cool stuff. And she does it for me. She's like, I would definitely pay a premium for that. And I'm like, I know, and it's working. So it was really, really cool. Like,
oh yeah.
Then she got burnt out. She's 19, and I appreciated her efforts and her, to even just think that she could start it,
Yeah. Well, and like you mentioned, even if you don't want to do a full out website, social media, doing an Instagram account, doing a Facebook page, those are totally free. And then you can just float your idea, see if anybody's even interested before you put any of your money into it. That'd be a great way to tackle it too.
Yeah, and that's how she sold every piece of item was on Instagram. So All right, so we're nearing the end. I know 30 minutes goes super, super fast, and I've appreciated hearing all about what you do. But I like to give my guests a couple minutes to just tell people where they can find you, any fun events coming up, whatever it is that you want to share. It's your time to share. So go ahead.
Wonderful. Okay, so if you have kids or you're a caregiver or you're a grandparent, anything, you have kids in your life in any form, please follow me on Stateline Kids. On Facebook, we're Stateline Kids. On Instagram, we're Stateline_kids. And then we have a website, stateline.kids.com. Right now, I'm putting together all the summer content. So I'm looking at where are the car shows, cruise nights, pools, splash pads, drive-in movies, mini golf, anything you can imagine summer related will be up on the site in our summer page where you can check out all the articles very soon. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And we'll also be doing summer bingo. We do seasonal bingo. You can win a prize every season from local businesses or local organizations. So keep an eye out for that. That will be coming soon as well.
That's cool. So do you also, because I've seen somebody ask this on my page about summer camps and like vacation Bible schools and stuff. Do you post about that too?
Yes, we currently have a summer camp guide on the website. You can access that through the guide section at the top of statelinkids.com. And it's being updated regularly as they're releasing summer camps, but it currently has probably 65 summer camps and BBSs on there. So there's a lot this year. It's back in the
That's awesome. So,
yes.
All right, I will send her your way.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Erin. It was so cool to hear about your story, and it's nice to finally see the face behind the website. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
For anybody that's watching this after our live, drop us a note, tell Erin hello. If you have a question, we'll make sure she gets back to you. And thank you so much. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.